Hello and welcome to a very special episode of the Let's Dig Into That podcast. It is our season 1 finale, and we are coming to you on New Year's Eve. You're going to be hearing this on New Year's Day. We usually give ourselves so much more time than this. I'm going to be up all night editing.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! But we wanted to do this special. We wanted to set our intentions. We wanted to discuss 2024 and what we want to have happen in 2025. So, you know what this is. This is the podcast where we share our shit to shake the shame. Let's dig into that. That means not shying away from the challenging or the subversive. It means using your words to express how you feel, to discover new opportunities for healing. This is a calling to connect, a celebration of authenticity, because we're all into this together. And who do I do this with? I do it with the overall sporting, bodysuit wearing, beautiful beauty, Jordan.
This is my actual outfit. Thank you.
I looked at your outfit and I was like, she's in a bodysuit. That's her thing.
And some overalls.
And man, do you rock it well.
I like to do the dual overlap.
I think I said beauty 4 times in that intro.
I'm into it.
I'm also high on Dayquil.
He is. Bless his little sniffle heart. Bless his little...
Sorry for that intro all over the place, but I'm heading the clouds.
We rode the wave with you. It's my assassin of accommodation. The athletic guy with people-pleasing thighs. The frisbee tossing thriller himself. It's my honey, JT.
Thank you, baby.
I know frisbee tossing probably sounds terrible.
Hey, I love frisbee. You kidding me?
Right. You're on the up. You're on the up and up. You're healing on the mend.
That's right. And as far as frisbee goes, I went to high school with the daughter of the guy who invented ultimate frisbee. So, I mean,
daughter of the guy I followed, I tracked that, and it is.
I think his name is Trip.
It makes me want to say meet me on the quad. Meet me on the quad to play some frizz.
Toss the disc, bro.
Toss the disc, bro. Happy New Year.
Thank you, baby.
I did want to make it special on New Year's Eve because I won't forget. Usually I'm like, what did we do last year? Remember when your whole hometown burned down? That happened.
Oh, yeah, that was New Year's Eve, wasn't it?
Yeah, right?
Oh,
and so
tried to forget that one, thanks.
Season 1 finale. I've never been this slap happy. I'm pumped.
It's been so amazing. I mean, this podcast has transformed us, our relationship, and how we can how we take on challenges.
And just getting started.
It's just getting started.
Yes.
So I want to kick this off because it is New Year's Eve.
Bring it. All the things.
Worst resolution you ever made.
Oh, my worst resolution. I have such a physical reaction, resolution. If that gets y'all excited, ride that wave. But resolution, I'm well, there's a promise lost.
Yuck.
There's some self-hatred to come. And so I definitely, I felt like Lent, again, recovering Catholic, so we're all things, yada, yada. But Lent, that 40-day stretch seemed very reasonable to resolve, to improve. And I also think there was a time when I was, this longest answer to your question,
this
usual.
is great. I love it.
But there was a time when it was new year, new me, clean slate. It's all behind me. Set down that stuff. And then, by the 3rd, I was back on the same freaking horse doing, And so worst resolution, I'm all of them comes to
Agreed.
mind.
Neither one of us are fans, but it's all about how you frame it. And I think that in this episode, we're going to get into ways that you can take that resolution, which I do think is sort of a horrible word. Yeah. The connotation of it's negative, and reframe it into something that is actually tangible and you can actually make a difference in your new year. And we'll get into that. But I want to hear all of them. But can you think of one that was really terrible?
And I did make resolution is lovely connotation, right? Where I'm we've all resolved to move ahead. But yes, it does have a bit of an edge. So the worst one... they are all so bodied. So I feel having a number on the scale, there was a lot of, I've got to fix everything that's broken or pick a couple spots of self-hatred. So mine was probably very weight, body image.
Yeah.
Those were really hard.
I think you're in a large group of people who had the same, that's very common. Gyms are packed in January.
As opposed to, I did switch to how my clothes fit and doing more physical, having a fun physical activity that I might not have done before. That sounds so silly, but I'm weird how much joy I get from hauling wood. Like he chops it, I haul it. And so this, ranch workout is I'm very in, or like taking a class or doing a boxing, having a little month of fun boxing. And so doing different stuff. I'm a lot more gentle with myself, but I think it was like just set an unrealistic expectation and number and then hating myself by my birthday in March.
I can relate. I think as a recovering alcoholic who has almost 3 years sober,
that would have been my second answer.
I always did. I was like, I want to be on the chart when I go to
chart.
When I go to the doctor's office, I want to be in a category of how many drinks in a week do you have.
Oh, on like the intake forms.
I want to be on the scale.
I was like, baby, you're not. Like, we've already tried to talk my dad off the BMI ledge. Like, we are beyond, you and I are beyond charts. But you're saying so on the intake when it's like how many drinks per week.
I wanted to just be in a category.
Checkbox.
I just wanted to be in a category.
The struggle is real because boy, can I relate. Where I was like, pretend it says daily. Or just skip that one.
Yeah.
Or, just big fat lie.
I would write in the word other.
Other.
Yeah, it had the 4 categories, and I would just at the bottom write other.
And did they ask you? I'm sure they inquired.
Of course, and I would be honest about my drinking habits and things like that, but I would always set a resolution every year to try to get on that chart and try to control my drinking on a weekly basis, and it was an unrealistic goal for me, and I'm not the kind of person that can be like, oh, I'm just going to have a few. That's not me. And I tried to be that. That was a resolution I set many a years.
Other. That's exactly what I would have written in. Checkbox other. Write in all.
All
how much
alcohol.
You drink per week? All of it.
What's available?
What is available is usually where I limit myself.
I'm a previous liquor store owner, so
you previous liquor store owner, and I turned 21 working in the wine industry, and so it was I didn't have a level 1 of those check boxes. I think it was straight to other.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, I hear you.
All the rules. Alcohol was probably my most consistent, longest time because I tried to curb. Turns out I can't curb for over a decade.
Wow.
And so it was like, and again, working in the wine business, don't drink before 10 a.m. Harder than you think, people.
Yeah.
I wasn't great at that.
Yeah,
at
I hear
all.
you.
And so that was your worst one. And so moving forward, are you going to set resolutions? Is that what my
I'm gonna
evening looks like? Is resolutioning?
No, I love tonight. We are going to burn some stuff.
Oh yeah, we're talking.
I'm really excited about that, and I know that my honey is gonna make me write some things down and light them on fire. And I want to think about what I'm gonna be letting go, the things that don't serve me.
Oh.
And I know
Is that like the catchphrase of the moment? Because it's one that I feel connected to. It's one I write down in places. What the hell does it mean? Letting go of alcohol was a good one. Let go. Didn't serve. Letting go of badgering myself over pretending my body was ever meant to weigh a certain number. That was nice. But yeah, I struggled with that, and I have been recently. You poked a button, fleshing it out. So what does that mean for you?
Well, I think about most things from a relational standpoint. And so for me, I need to either let go or be all in certain aspects of relationships. And so there's a lot of things that I want to let go of inside my personal relationship and our marriage that aren't serving us. I think we can be honest about 2024. We had a lot of struggles, and that's not uncommon.
I think we've fleshed out the extremes of like, okay, this is what our high looks like. This is pretty sweet up here. And then like, let's make it weird way down low.
Right. And so in terms of us, one of the things that I'd like to work to let go of is I am someone who is always seeking connection. And I need to find that in more avenues than just my wife. And a lot of the problems that we kind of run into is that I'm seeking connection when you're trying to be connected with yourself, which is so important. And I want to let go of my own selfish need for connection coming from you, because there's other avenues to feel that connection. And so I'd like to do a better job in 2025 of finding connection the way I need it, but also making sure that I'm not hindering the connection that you have with yourself, because I can see how my need for connection can sometimes be a detriment to what you need for your own personal satisfaction. And so I want to let go my need to connect in particular ways and find it in more avenues and sort of, you know, broaden my horizons on how I connect with people, with my community, and
outside of the routine
yeah,
comfort zone.
which to be honest, I think this is a struggle.
This is being recorded. Did everybody catch that? Like, I heart you big time. I love you, but
I think it's a pretty common struggle.
But we did hit the nail on the head. We waited too long. Of the time connecting with myself seemed as though he thought that time was, JT felt, I believe, that I was utilizing that time to plot my exit, my revenge against him, or anything. It wasn't. And so I think if I provide enough of that, I front load with, holy shit, I love you so much. And then you're kind of riding that high till I pop back up.
That's definitely
like a groundhog.
I love that. I love that you want to be a part of my goal. But in reality, all that I really ask from you is to do you. And I want to be the one that makes the adjustments, because I think that's where we can have the most amount of success is I'm asking a lot of my partner too often. And I want us to be, anytime you're in a relationship, the person that you're in a relationship needs to be an addition, needs to add to your life. And sometimes I think when we got lost and we were in moments of struggle throughout 2024, that's what we weren't doing for each other. We weren't being additions. We were requiring things from each other.
Bless his heart.
Pardon me. Sorry. Fighting. And that isn't adding always. Mm-hmm. And so I want to be more respectful of your needs in our relationship, and sometimes that means I'm not a part of it.
I was going to say the struggle is real with this one, with me, because if you say to me, what do you need? My response is nothing. Mm-hmm. Traditionally, because I have the autonomy of my rage pirate exists, and not that it's angry, but I'm just very self-sufficient, and also with a service mindset that I like to. Yeah, you don't need to fill my need. That only points out in my mind that, have I checked in on what the current status of everyone else in the room? And I believe we're both people pleasers
in
that way. But it is a struggle when I don't give very much on the, what could I do to make your day better, is only read my mind, obviously, but don't make me slow down and tell you.
That's exactly why that's sort of one of my intentions for this year, is because what you are saying right now is exactly that, where I do read the room and I try to get a vibe. I try to get an essence of what's going on. And when I'm not getting a lot from you, that should be a cue for me to go figure out what I need to be doing. That means you're good.
Right.
I'm not
looking to you
right.
for, yes.
I need to go do me in those moments. And that's what I'm saying is I need more things of doing me. I need more great outlets of how to fill my time. And because when I do check in with you like that, it's a very nice thing that I do, but at the same time, it makes you feel like I need you.
Correct.
And that's what I would like to do a better job of, is like read the room, see, she's good, go do your own thing. And I think that would be a huge benefit to our relationship in 2025.
I'm in. But no, I appreciate that. And I am so lucky to be loved in a way that is attentive and that you do care. But it truly feels like if you're trying to take a temperature or a pulse off of, if your energy is based on my energy, that's not safe for anyone, because I can turn on a dime. And so by the time you are caught up in to where I'm in my zone, I'm already gone.
Right.
I'm 6 colors later.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate that, because I do think, we're saying a lot of the letting go and being gentler with ourselves and trying to do you. Like, it's all these, it's good intentions. And I liked your idea of the word of, this is where I'm setting my focus for the year, as opposed I'm resolving to,
that's how
only eat vegetables. That's
how I think it has to be framed. If you call it a resolution, that has such a negative connotation now in our society that, that means through January 31st, maybe that you're going to try something different. And I think it's really important to try different things and get out of your comfort zone. That's where growth happens. You know what I mean?
That's where the magic happens. Easier said than done, but it is a scary time when we built a COVID lifestyle where people, it was so easy to I don't know what the word is, artificially connect, where you were still working and active and staying in touch. And some might argue even better with certain folks that are far away, that you made it a point to really be in contact. And so that's interesting, getting out of the comfort zone. I think I advocate, and I'm a big proponent. I can give that pep talk to everyone, but I'm probably one of the worst of, ooh, it's cozy right here in my onesie and my overalls.
Well, that makes me think, I sort of gave you what I'm hoping to let go of. I'm sure you have some things that you're...
So I was struggling with the definition of like, let go and just release it. And I'm like, yeah, hence why I burn stuff. Like the burning tonight. I love that you're like, my honey's going to make me write stuff down. I'm not going to make you...
And then light it on fire.
Yes, I am going to make the fire part happen, but you can write whatever you want. And if it's like, please don't make me burn shit anymore. My fingertips
I love participating, and sometimes...
It's a release for me. It feels really good, whether there's... And it's not necessarily like packed with negativity, like, oh, I want to get this off my chest, but that's great as well.
Yeah.
My girlfriend, she writes a letter, and so we discuss like, who's the letter to? Is it to her little tender heart? Is it to the universe? Is it to the next year? Is it to, I don't know, Vishnu? Jury's out. And so, but I do think that's really cathartic, like releasing that. And so there's my let go word, that I think there's something. And so
more of a release for you than letting go.
And I think that I'm still harnessing a let go of what doesn't serve you. One that I kind of have been thinking about recently are the relationships, going back to your point, but I have relationships that kind of, that have played a big, significant part in my past, whether it be for a brief moment, but just like had an impact. Mm-hmm. And I'm replaying those, like those either ran their course or one or both of us consciously decided to move on, number of reasons. And I didn't go through AA, like you did, but I did live with a person going through the steps. And man, I have raked myself. Like if there were folks that I just wish I could apologize to, I'm not like, that doesn't hold me back. I'm willing to fall on this. Like I can own my shit, I hope, and I can get even better at it. Mm-hmm. But I feel like I'm either badgering myself or I need to take action. So to let go this year, the relationships on replay, I either need to pick up the phone, send the quick text, write the letter, even decide maybe I don't need to send it, but maybe that's the closure.
Right.
Or release it completely and send them nothing but love and things like that. But I'm like, is there something why? And I think, is it guilt? I'm great at all of that.
So what I'm gathering is like you have these relationships from your past that still occupy space in your mind.
Yeah.
And you either got to let them go or reconnect.
Right.
And I really like that.
It's like an open window on the desktop. Should people still use those on your laptop screen, where it's just taking up space and it's right there? But I see so many, these are, again, like we're something in my house that I'll walk by and I'm like, oh, that's sweet. And I wonder, I wish them well, but I need to figure out a game plan there. So resentments, that's another one, like unrelated to these relationships. Some might be connected, who knows, but like.
I would argue that they are. And again, you said hadn't gone through the 12 steps of AA. I did. Step 9, you literally try to make amends with all the people that you've made a list of who you've potentially harmed. That is to get rid of resentment. That's why we do that in AA, and it's a very powerful thing. And a lot of times you can't make that
right. They don't want to chat with you.
Exactly. And so you do a living amends, and you do exactly the sort of type of things that you're talking about right now, where you set your intentions and you wish them the best. And that is exactly how you do away with resentment. And so I think that's really powerful.
I struggle with that. I think that word came into my vocabulary because you use it more often than I do. Because I would say, oh, I'm not a grudge-toting. And then you have pointed out that you think that some actions or words might be harboring or reflective of. And so I think that, and maybe it's a lot with myself too.
When I hear the words come out of your mouth, man, I've made so many mistakes. That is the streamline. That's like the main vein to...
And that's living in the past.
You're carrying resentments and you're not living in the present. And so
that's called sleep deprivation. I sound so sad. I hate hearing that falls out of my... Yeah, because I've made some.
Well,
My life
we
looks pretty
all
all right.
we all do things that we wish we maybe had done a little bit better on and things like that. And the way that you move past them is you make sure that that's a learning experience. And so when you're faced with a similar challenge, you've learned from it and you've grown from it. That's how it all works. And so when you grow from something, it's almost impossible to have any resentment towards it because you have gratitude for learning from it. And so it's all about perspective. And so resentment's a really tough thing. It's hard to let go of certain things in your life where you're in a current position that you wish you were in a different one and you see how you could have gotten to where you want to be. It's really hard not to harbor some resentment for the choices that you made or the way that things played out. But at the same time, it's not serving you.
Not serving
Going
me,
back to the letting
unhealthy,
go.
a brick of ick that's just
A
kind of
brick
like
of ick.
a brick of ick.
Sweatshirt.
Thank you.
That's a good one.
Swag list grows. That's sitting there, and the fact that we have now proven that I am denying the fact that I am capable of harboring any resentment. And then we're pointing out I'm using the lingo though, willy-nilly. And so I could stand to probably flesh out the shit I'm ignoring in the new year. And I'm willing to go there because it's not the brick of ick. Like that's not helping. And so I'll have to look into that. So hypothetically, I want to let go of resentments as I uncover these rocks that now undoubtedly exist.
That's why we do this. You know, we are learning along with our audience. And so it's powerful. You know what I mean? Like
it is powerful.
Good on you.
And so you were talking about, getting rid of. Also, I had one more, reactions. That was one that I said probably as a hasty reaction of this is shit I'd like to change in the new year. Is me feeling like a ball of fire. And so again, perimenopause. We don't know, but but I think that regretful, also a word I don't love, but like regretful reactions, like could have done better. And I don't. There is a daily room for minor improvement. And so I think
with
it's
all
worth
people,
noting.
I mean, give yourself some grace.
Wouldn't that be a great group effort? We all just tried to be less of a jerkwad.
There's a lot of people that believe life is all about reactions and we're constantly just reacting to things. And so I think that's a powerful message as well. And I think all people, like, again, give yourself some credit. Like, I wish that I could react better to things all the time. And that's why we do the work. It's why we talk about it. And it doesn't instantly get better. And there are certain things that I know your buttons, you know my buttons. And I'm not sure those reactions will ever change because those are ingrained in us. And we can talk about it and work on it all we want.
It's true love. I think that is just true love, to be like, I can play you like a flute.
Yes.
And turn you to straight up dust.
Right.
One thing, reflecting on the past year, I think it was my word of 2024 was connection. So funny to think that that's kind of a focus point for you in the new year. I think it's great. I think it's why we're all, like you said, that was the meaning of life you quoted the other day.
Absolutely. I truly believe that.
And so it was important to me. And I think there are definite areas for improvement, but the importance of being a good friend, and I talked about it a lot here at home, where what does that even mean? Like, is a good friend, I remembered your birthday? Or is a good friend showing up in a time where you didn't ask permission and you felt it in your intuitive little heart of hearts of they need me, and showed up, and I felt like I was a much better friend because I was being more conscious. I also I love my small group. That is a limited amount of energy, and so that's hard as I consider these relationships that might be no longer serving me, where it's like there's only so much pie. And so if I'm going to give, and I want nothing but love, but some of those I need to consider carefully on what is that going to require, because it is incredibly rewarding that I have these awesome women specifically in my life, that we are at a point where I could pick up the phone and be mid-sentence, could bump into them, and we are in each other's brains, and that feels, and that's not because we talk every day, because that's not my jam. I'm over here connected with myself, ignoring my husband.
So I love that your 2024 word was connection.
Yep.
I think it's super cool that you pick a word for your year. Are you
I
willing?
had a fabulous friend who I flew to on intuition who gave me a gorgeous gift last Christmas.
Yes.
Which was my word, connection, on a gorgeous necklace.
That's right.
Yeah.
CXN?
CXN, that is my
it.
abbreviation for, not mine, but probably everyone's.
So are you willing to share with everyone what your word for 2025 is?
I am willing. Do you have yours?
I do have mine.
Okay.
You want me to go first?
Well, why not?
Okay. So my word for 2025 is impact.
Oh, I didn't know if you needed a drum roll. You hit it though. Impact seems like it didn't require that. I love it.
And what I mean by that is there are just like the connection aspect that I was talking about earlier, there are so many ways that I feel like I can make an impact in my community with people around me. And I want the things that I know and the things that I believe in my heart, I want to spread them to more people because the changes that I've had happen to me in the last handful of years are so powerful to me. And I just want to share that feeling. And I feel like there's people as a counselor by nature. And that's what I want to do is I want this podcast. I want our book project. I want to impact people in a positive way. And there's so many outlets for that for me. And
broadening.
I feel like I
impact.
haven't taken advantage of the opportunity to really help out, my neighbor, my fellow man. And so impact is my word for 2025.
I love it.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Nice. You ready for this?
Yeah.
My 2025 word, flourish.
Flourish.
What do you think?
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah, it came to me because I think my first one, I started with execute and I was like, nope, little too intense.
I get what you mean, but
yeah, we're at my auntie's house on Christmas Eve morning. I'm like, you know what? I don't know. And so
things that don't serve me, execute.
Execute. Yeah, I come in hot. But I think when I found out that vigorous growth is part of the actual definition of flourishing,
Boom.
and I was like, vigorous growth sounds about right. Developing
Yes.
it does benefit from a favorable environment. Flourishing does.
Nice.
And so I appreciate that me time.
Very cool. Well, thank you for sharing. Flourish is a beautiful
good
word,
one.
especially when you tell me the definition. It makes me think of something else, actually. And this is all over social media. I don't want to take credit for this, but the Japanese art of misogi.
Misogi? I'm not Japanese, but misogi is what I've been saying to myself.
Exactly. Misogi. I love the concept of misogi. And for those who maybe haven't heard what misogi is, it's basically
Like a year defining event.
action. And you set it at the beginning of the year of like, this is the one big deal thing I'm going to accomplish in 2025.
Interesting. I totally want to, this is not a disagree, but I'm going, in our lack of Japanese study, I took it as like, that is, if I don't know what I literally had for lunch 2 days ago. However, if I look back on 2024, I can pick out a misogi type moment, probably using that word wrong. But wow, that was, so I'm thinking even hindsight possibility where, yes, I think it's beautiful to set an intention of like, this is the year that, yeah, X happens.
But you kind of look at it in a retrospective way where it's like 2024, we started a podcast.
Right.
And you put that as your misogi event, your misogi. I'm not sure I'm using it right either.
Right. Your moment. And I think this has been adopted by like super hardcore athletes. Extreme. And I think there might be some connection with water and like waterfalls and things like that. I could be connecting random Japanese traditions. It's hard to say, but the intention is good. And
Yes.
I think that, it was just my natural inclination was like, oh, looking back, I would be able to identify that was what that was this year. But I think, setting one, not limited to, but that is kind of nice.
I'm going to set one.
So what about no resolutions, just one?
Right.
Resolution.
And so it doesn't happen in January. It's something that you're working towards throughout the year. And a lot of times it might be something you didn't expect. But when I think of like in 2024, we started a podcast. That's definitely what I would put in that category. And then for 2025, I want that podcast, maybe our book project, the projects we're passionate about. I want that to become what I do for my career. I want that to become everything that it could. And so that's
energy.
Exactly. Started
You've
in 2024.
been spread a little thin, babe. It's why you're sick. It sounds like you've been spread a little thin.
I get that, but I just want to figure out how the things that are really closest to my heart that I spend my time doing, I want that to be my career. I want that to be I want those things to flourish.
Oh, see? I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You want to have an impact.
Exactly.
And you want I love it. That's good. So if you have like one big one, go ahead. You were going to ask.
Well, I was going to just say, do you have a big one for 2025?
I have many. And so we'll see which one hits the dartboard.
Fair enough.
But I am still true. I do think for me it's important though, where it's like, yes, having that forward direction, and I say only forward, that phrase, and tap my arm probably 15 times a day, that I do think it's important to keep that drive going. And that's why I think like little mini adventures, like whether it be a seasonal, like a quarterly something you are putting a little planning into, or mini adventure I like because it can be, oh wow, that just happened. Where it was, we totally drove by this trailhead and ended up hiking on our way home from wherever.
Right.
And we're like, holy moly, found a freaking waterfall.
Yeah.
Who knew?
There you go.
Miss Ogie moment.
So I look at that as, you know this about me, but I already mentioned it a little bit, but comfort. When we get stuck in a comfort zone, it really limits our growth, if not just puts a lid on it. And so those mini adventures, if you could do 6 mini adventures in a year, that is so powerful to your growth. But I would also put the caveat of make it something you don't normally do.
I would like to take a class. Like I've talked about being a welder. I think the mask feels hot. And so I understand the heat, but that's my only limit. But I think welding some really cool stuff would be fun.
I would love for you to weld some metal art for our front yard so the deer stop eating all of our bushes.
I love that I'm thinking like Christmas ornament and he's like 12 feet tall.
That's right.
I do think go big or go home. I like it. But yeah, like a traveling somewhere new that's a road trip, like those little mini staycations.
Well, again, if there's something in particular in your life that is so simple and it scares you.
Like when we forget about Utah?
Yeah, Utah's right there.
It's like right there.
Why do we not go to Utah? But no, I mean, it could be so simple. This doesn't have to be earth shattering, but if you step out of your comfort zone every other month, that means that you're doing something that's impacting growth, and it doesn't have to be revolutionary. It could be, if you are a regular of the diner, try the Chinese restaurant.
Mix it
You know what I mean? It's just, it could be that simple, but the amount of growth that you can actually gain from just stepping out of being too comfortable. I think comfort is the thing that will be the downfall of our civilization. Is like, we strive, particularly as Americans, to be as comfortable as possible. And it actually is so limiting. If you can not be comfortable all the time, you grow as a person. And I wish we could all.
We are pretty set in our convenience.
Yeah.
And comforts. And it is a wake up call often when you travel and you're like, wait. They're like on strike and everybody's calm with this, and like we all assume it's going to kick back on, or it's true. The assumptions.
Go to Scandinavia, where everything's expensive. It's a socialist society, but it's the happiest place on the planet. And then when we were in Thailand, think about that.
Smiley.
People, it's the land of smiles, but also everyone lives in a tiny apartment that doesn't even have a kitchen.
It was really cool to discover that, yes, the custom of eating out in your kitchen, your dining room table is out on the street. And that is very Asian in tendency and awesome.
It's
and
so
laundry
awesome.
Next to your laundromat.
Walls of washers and dryers
I
in
thought,
the streets.
how are these restaurants constantly packed? And they're like, no one's eating at home. And I was like, huh.
Right.
We assume that you have to all be at grandma's house at the big table on Sunday, and they're like, grandma's house is wherever grandma is.
Right. And eating out and going out to dinner is so much different in those cultures, where it's literally what you do. You walk out your front door and there's 9 people who are making a living serving you food, and it's not crazy expensive. It's the same thing that you probably would be making at home. It's just being prepared for someone who's making a living doing it. It was just such a different culture, and extremely uncomfortable for Americans to see, because it's not how we live. But man, did I gain a lot from just seeing a different way of living.
Getting in the buzz, the flow, the amount of people. It's a different vibe. But even taking that and way localizing it to imagine, like, I never cook at hypothetically, I do at random. But if you were a non-culinary, you were not in the kitchen, and you decided, I'm going to blow my fam's mind and whip up something.
Right.
And even if it goes awry, like that counts to me as a mini adventure. Is
big time.
I'm going to,
absolutely.
If it requires turmeric, I think that's
right.
Yeah. You got cloves in there, you're in. You're in.
And that's what I mean. Or The other mini adventures that I think would be really powerful in terms of growth and sort of taking you out of your comfort zone. Because again, when we're comfortable, we can get a little bit stuck. And stuck is the word that I really try to avoid. Like when you feel stuck, it's a terrible feeling. But one of those little mini adventures would be inviting someone that an acquaintance to hang out. Like that's another adventure. That's something that brings you out of your comfort zone, and something that I plan on implementing in my 2025 is like there's people and acquaintances that I've made through work and connections here in this community.
It's time to actually schedule that dinner.
Exactly.
Come over for that game.
I ran into a buddy today and I was like, hey,
remember when
Happy
we
New
always
Year.
see
Let's
each other
actually get together.
Pretend to hang out.
Right. And
Yeah.
so that's, it's so easy to stay home and watch
Take
the game.
that next step.
But I want to step out of my comfort zone and invite people to do things with me. And that definitely counts as one of those mini adventures, in my opinion.
So tonight I will remind you of, we've got broadening of the connection. We've got the depth of, going deeper on those folks you do care about. It's a lot. How do we get those in those SMART goals? How do we make these specific enough where you aren't like, I haven't changed the world. Everyone doesn't have my face printed on a shirt yet, but they probably will. But yeah, I think that how do you do that and translate it into?
Great question. For me, it's all about scheduling and planning. Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
There we go.
I like the idea of the mini adventures because it is time framed. It means every other month I have to do something.
You're going to scoop up that parking lot, buddy, and be like, you're coming with me.
That pulls me out of my comfort zone. And that's a tangible, realistic goal in my mind of if I am trying to do at least 6 in the year, that is reasonable. That is a goal that I can achieve, as opposed to like every day I'm going to do something that makes me uncomfortable. I probably wouldn't be able to meet those standards, but every other month, try to do something that makes you uncomfortable. That's so much more reasonable. And so, that's how I plan to do things. And then setting one big time goal of what I want to accomplish in my year, and then refocusing myself when I'm day to day struggling or we're arguing or whatever is, I'm going to think back, is this pushing me forward to
Is
that
this serving me? Yeah.
overarching goal? And if it's not, maybe it's something I have to let go.
Dig it. Got a good answer for that one. Respect. Respect.
How about yourself? How are you going to set realistic goals using that, model? Like what's your method for achieving what you want in the new year?
Yes, I am a numbers nerd. And so I have the one overarching, I do think my out of comfort zone, I want to speak on a stage again.
Ooh.
They've been a lot of, the online thing is great and safe as hell. And so I think that there's something about, and I think it'll be really fun to see how that comes up. I may be reading a children's book. We don't know.
Ooh, I like
but
that.
I think, I might do a hot set, do my stand-up routine. Just kidding. It doesn't exist. That'd be a night. You've got one.
I'll write your jokes.
Yeah.
I'll write your material.
And so in my numbers, one big one, my 6 mini adventures. And then as far as that self, kind of loving myself a little bit better, it would be nice to do a seasonal kind of focus where it is I want to take that. I've talked about it here with the self-discipline, that sacred time in the morning. Getting better, not great. And so whether it is a little bit of meditation, there's my worst resolution.
Meditation?
I have holy Lord. There's one I've written down 1,000 times and I am yet to tate. And yeditate. And so, I've yeditated for years on end. And so I sometimes, whenever I tell you I'm meditating, what do?
Take a nap.
That's right. That's right. And I am not above naps. Big fan. I hope naps are included in everyone. Yeah, it's good for you. It is good for you. You can sneak it in. I'm going to go meditate and I nap.
I think Abby Wambach naps for 2 hours every afternoon.
I do. I'm a huge We Can Do Hard Things podcast listener.
Yes,
and I can confirm that as an athlete, gets it. Abby Wambach gets the power of the nap. And so if I needed to have permission, I would use her name holier than any. I would be like, Abby said this is so cool. Shut your pie hole about it. I'm doing it. And so, yes, I've got my 1, my 6, and then, a quarterly kind of, whether it is meditate or I would love to broaden my Tai Chi could be fun or do something out of the, I want to learn something. Master class could be cool. And in spirit of getting on stage, I'm like, I think Amy Poehler does a master class on presenting.
Oh, really?
And so I'm like, how fun would that be?
That'd be awesome.
And so I could, yeah.
Very cool.
I love that just one note I had that is at the end of today, anything he said, I'm just going to be like, I dare you. That was going to be how I wrap up our New Year's resolutions tonight, is just be like, I dare you to do all the stuff you said in 2025.
That's the whole true love thing of, yeah, you know me pretty well. You know
it works with me too, but you for sure competitive.
Yes. Yeah. Christmas Story, kid sticks his tongue to the frozen pole on a double dog dare. I am that kid for sure. If you're like, oh, I want you to do this, and then you conclude with, I dare you to do this, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And you know that about me, and that's a good thing, I think.
I think that is a button that I'm proud to use, and so I will take notes as we burn things. And
yeah, I'm excited for tonight. I also have one more question, and because I do think it is important to reflect, because we learn from our past, but I am definitely more of a that set our intentions kind of person. But what I'd like to know about your 2024 is, what are you most proud of?
Ooh, what am I most proud of? This is game changer. This conversation that we've given ourselves the opportunity and the invitation to flesh things out like this has been absolutely unbelievable in ways I never expected. And so that's huge. There were some pretty special travel moments.
Yes.
I was able to witness you, in the presence of true love in Sicily. And that was really, really cool.
Officiating your...
Yeah, officiating a wedding. And it was unbelievably beautiful and amazing. And to hear you talk about love in that way, that was a really proud moment. To be like, yeah, he's mine.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
I didn't expect
those
that to be
two
your
came
answer.
to mind. Do you have one?
Well, I mean, this podcast is probably the most obvious answer for me. I think that what we're doing is very special. And with that said, I think we have some special things coming up that we need to tell our audience about, because we are closing out season 1. But guess what? We're coming back with season 2.
That's right.
New and improved.
I think same and improved.
Well, I think...
Yeah, it's good. You're going to recognize us, but damn, are we going to look good.
We're going to do some upgrades with our
We have
equipment.
so many amazing interviews coming.
Yes.
We will be live YouTube channel up and running. There is a lot of good. January 15th is the Wednesday. Very short break.
We're taking
lots of work behind the scenes.
Yep, taking a break after season 1 to do exactly those kind of things. We're going to upgrade our sort of setup so we can bring in more guests and have more in-depth conversations with more people than just you and myself, which I think will really add to this podcast quite a bit. So I'm really excited about that. And you already mentioned the YouTube channel. I think that's really going to help sort of spread what we're trying to do and grow our fan base a little bit. And so
I'm forward to the comments and getting back and all the, and otherwise.
Right.
Because, hey, to be out there and, uncomfortable in the world is what we've decided we're all about.
Now, when we say find our podcast anywhere where you find podcasts, we actually include anywhere.
I felt rude YouTube where now. I realized that feels like it's on me. But hey,
well, Apple Music, Spotify.
I thought they're all owned by Disney. I thought like Walt Disney
That's ESPN and ABC.
The world. And so, being gentle, like resolutions, not rules.
Yes.
And nothing but good things. I hope this is a quarter of a century, like 25.
25,
I mean, we just, Y2K yesterday. Feels
Glad
like
you made
we
it.
just survived that.
Still have water in the basement. Still have water in the basement.
You should hydrate. Yes, we're going to get you healthy. You have exactly X number of hours to be well.
That's right.
And there will be no fire injuries. But I do encourage you, if you want to be safe if you light things on fire. But it is a nice, and you decide to jot a little note to say, I release that, because let's start fresh.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, be brave, beautiful friends. We will chat in the new year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody, and thank you for listening.